Good morning, respected judges, lecturers, and friends. For a long time, I thought education was something simple. You go to school, you listen to the teacher, you pass the exam. That is learning. But after spending years inside the education system, I started to question that idea. I realized that being present in a classroom does not always mean understanding what is being taught. Sometimes learning happens, sometimes it doesn't. UNESCO reports that more than 200 million children and young people around the world are still out of school. At the same time, many students who do attend school struggle with basic reading and comprehension. This situation tells us that the problem we face today is not only about who gets access to education, but about what kind of learning actually takes place. This concern is at the core of Sustainable Development Goal number 4. SDGs 4 talks about quality education and lifelong learning. But quality here is often misunderstood. It is not limited to modern facilities or advanced technology. It is about whether education helps learners understand ideas, connect knowledge to the real situation, and grow as individuals. In many classrooms, learning is still treated as a task of remembering information. Students are trained to memorize definition, formulas, or model answers. Over time, this approach creates distance between education and daily life. The World Bank refers to this condition as learning poverty, where students spend years in school but remain unable to fully understand what they read. When this happens, education becomes a routine rather than a meaningful experience. Indonesia reflects this challenge as well. Access to education has improved significantly, and more students are enrolled at various levels. However, international assessments such as PISA continue to show difficulties in reading literacy and reasoning skills. This suggests that educational success should not be judged only by numbers. What matters is whether learners leave school with the ability to make sense of information and respond to the world around them. From my perspective, as a student of English language education, literacy plays a central role in improving educational quality. Literacy is often understood as the ability to read and write correctly, but in practice, it goes much further than that. Literacy involves understanding meaning, recognizing different viewpoints, and deciding how to respond to information responsibly. Without this ability, students may receive knowledge but remain dependent on others to interpret it. Universities have an important role in addressing this issue. Higher education should not be isolated from society. When learning is connected to discussion, community experience, and reflection, it becomes more relevant to students' lives. Education starts to feel useful not only for exams, but for understanding social realities and personal values. For me, SDGs 4 is not just a global target written in an international document. It feels personal because it challenges us to look closely at our own learning experiences. It asks how learning is shaped, how teaching is practiced, and how education influences the way we participate in society. In the end, education should not be about producing individuals who can answer questions quickly. It should help people understand why certain questions matter and when it is necessary to keep asking. That's all from me. Thank you for your nice attention. Goodbye.